This woman is driving and she's lost, and she needs directions to get to I-95. And she finally, in driving around, sees a man sitting on a chair in front of his house. And she stops the car, and she says to him, "Do you know how I can get to 95? And he said, "Yes, eat well and drive carefully."
All my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. Seasons spinning round again, the years keep rolling by.
I'm Robin, and I grew up in Toronto, but I go back to visit quite often to see my mother. We have a very special relationship to each other, and I think she's quite an extraordinary person. Every time I go to Toronto, I'm very nervous because as she's getting older, I don't know how I'm going to find her. And of course, she does age a little bit each time I come.
And so far,
Good to see you. It is so nice to see you, Robin.
Hi.
What a nice daughter I have. If you're going to video everything that I say, I have to be very careful. I want to be spontaneous.
Okay. But anyway, would you like to go for a walk in the park tomorrow?
I would like to go for strolling through the park one day in the merry, merry month of May. I was taken by surprise by a pair of lovely eyes while strolling through the park one day.
You're a ham. Tell me who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Well, how much time do we have? Because I go back a long way.
Good morning!
Oh, my dear. What a lovely day this is. There she is filming away. Yeah. Just give me a little more tea.
So what are you going to have for breakfast? The usual?
You know what? I think I'm going to have some oatmeal.
I don't see my mother as being old. I just see her as a very young spirit. And I'll always see her that way. She's just not old to me. Stella, which is what I call her now, is quite an extraordinary person other than being my mother. She has always done something.
I saw an ad in the paper, and it called for people to come down and sell Royal typewriters. Well, the first day out, I took my typewriter to some of the relatives I had. And of course, they had to buy it since I was a relative. I was a niece. And I sold, I think, 3 the first day. So the next day, I was a prime seller, 3 typewriters, and I had to make a speech about how I sold it. Anyway, a young man came over to me and said, "My friend wants to meet you. He wants to be properly introduced." And he brought over the man that would become your father. Good girl.
Yay! But now I have to use it.
This is an orange 11.
Thank you very much.
My mother's full of ideas. She thinks that she invented the Swiffer. She's always thinking, coming up with things. So she came up with this, what she thought was a brilliant idea.
You remove nail polish with a liquid substance. I went to Bloomingdale's, and I went to Macy's, and I went to Gimbel's, and I went wherever, and I started to sell it. Well, I had to demonstrate it. It wasn't removing the polish, so I thought up a little trick. I thought, if I put on nail polish just before I go into the buyer, that might help, and that did help, because it was sort of wet. And anything would have taken it off, I guess. Well, Craig did it, and they bought it, and they advertised it, and we sold it. One night, I was reading in bed. It was about 11:30, and there was an article in the paper about a group in Detroit that had started a lecture series, and it was very successful. And the light bulb went on. I can do that, I thought. We signed up 5 people. One of them was Lowell Thomas. Now, a lot of people today don't know who Lowell Thomas is, but they know who Walter Cronkite was. Well, Lowell Thomas was even bigger than Walter Cronkite in his day. It was very, very big. It became very, very successful